Dating Two Guns here with the Lisa-Kamini Foster and the 2018 New Year, New You individual grand prize winner, Maggie Schultz.
This is me making it rain on Maggie.
Making it rain on that $1,500 grand prize. I forget what it was this year.
I don't know. It was a lot.
You don't know how much money you won?
I turned it back into gym membership, so.
Oh.
So when somebody wins, there's either a cash and then there's like a 20% higher in membership.
Oh.
I
wouldn't know.
money.
I've never won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took the
I don't win anything.
You did kill. You win every day of life.
Okay, you're right.
And you did really well in the New Year.
Yeah, I did.
As well.
Okay. But this is about Maggie.
It's
like Twitch.
It's about all of us.
Take some sips on your water. Here, I think you're verklempt.
Good use.
I will take verklempt, yes.
It's all about be we, not me, right?
Right.
So our New Year, New You is our yearly big transformation challenge we run every end of January, February. Teams compete. There's a grand prize. It's super fun. A lot of people get great results, and we have an individual grand prize in which Maggie was the winner. To embarrass her just a little bit, in the 8-week challenge, Maggie lost 27.5 pounds, 6% body fat, 7 inches off her waist, 4 inches off her hips, 1 inch off each arm.
The hips don't lie.
They do not. 1.5 inches off each leg. Crushed it.
Crushed it. Damn, girl.
Give a little summary of your New Year, New You experience.
I think prior years I probably wasn't ready to do New Year, New You. Like, I think I was mentally and physically ready to, like, go all in and tackle it this year. So it was a good timing fit for me this year.
Why do you think this year was different?
I think because I've been working towards it for a couple of years. Like, I'm not somebody who likes a lot of change or a lot of change, new things.
Any change period?
Yeah, basically any change period. So, like, I worked at different things throughout the past year and a half prior to that being here. And, like, I had all the pieces, and it was time to kind of put all the pieces together and hold myself accountable through the challenge was like, a good thing for me.
I remember as I was putting together the New Year, New You stuff and seeing, like, who I was going to harass and who I wasn't member-wise to do it, I'm like, I think this, like, I'm going to talk to Maggie about this.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next day she comes in, she goes, I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to do the New Year, New You this year. And I'm like, ugh.
Why did you think you were going to have to harass her?
No, not harass her particularly, but like I go through people like, okay, I know this person will do it, I know this person will do it, this person's going to need some convincing, this one's going to be a stretch, and kind of figure out, or this person is ready, this person isn't ready, because say...
It must be your menacing patriarchy that...
Menacing patriarchy? I feel
That's
like...
my new tag phrase, because it's so not true.
I was going to say, I guess the fact that it's so untrue...
I wouldn't be here if it was true.
I was going to say, I can hyphenate my last name and get I already have short hair.
Gosh.
So, yeah.
Be still my heart.
But the New Year, New You 2017, I had the same thing, and I'm like, she's doing really well, and as we'll talk about, when she started, I was like, okay, next year I feel like, and then I remembered I had that conversation with myself in 2018 about
funny.
2017.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, and I had a vacation at the end of New Year, New You last time too, so I was like,
Well, it was at that point last year, you had already been here about a year.
Right.
And because started in end of April, beginning of May 2016. And
it's all up here.
In that 2017, we had kind of incrementally started doing super small things, and we had kind of started to formalize how we were doing things, but it still wasn't the like, boom, balls to the wall. Like, okay, we're going to start talking about nutrition. We're going to start tracking a little more, just making more aware of like, hey, getting to the gym had become a habit.
Yeah, that was locked down.
Which
when you say we, are you talking about Maggie?
We're talking about us, because it's be.
I thought you were talking. I wasn't sure if you were talking about the challenge.
In the context of the 2017 New Year, New You, I was, because it wasn't going to be like, hey, you should do this, because it was an incremental thing where, hey, it took us, this amount of time to make getting to the gym something that was as seamless as possible.
Yeah, right? And consistent, and I didn't have to think about it. Like, it became a habit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when people come in, the misconception among people outside of our inner circle is that, oh, this fitness thing is easy. I'm going to work out 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and then when you actually chunk it down to the average person or the majority of people and how life actually works, that's just not how it works. Like getting to the gym 2 to 3 to 4 hours a week is sometimes multiple changes at once. So we look at the psychology of change and the statistics around it. One major change to a person, 90-ish% success rate. 2 changes, 60 to 65. 3 changes, 5 to 10. More than 3, virtually 0. But what do most people do?
Jump
800
all in.
things, and they
Right.
don't do 801.
Epic fail.
Right. Well, and that's how it works. And when you know the behavioral psychology and the motivation science, it's like, oh, that's exactly how it actually works. But oh, I failed at this thing, and it's like, no. So we were building upon, and some people, you know, they don't have any kids, they don't necessarily work full time. Getting to the gym 3 times a week is a habit we master in 1 or 2 months. Some people it's a year, some people it's 3 years and counting, right? But it's always
Yeah,
a work in
everybody's
progress.
different.
Well, and I think that's part of it too, where it's like, okay, when do you know when to push this person, blah, 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 and kind of finding the middle ground there. Because I have to tell the story of the first time, right?
Knew that was coming. Yeah.
Had to. So we have like a little application process for one of the programs we have here called Fit in 42. And the applications that come in, they range from, you know, like 1 word each answer to a little bit of depth on each answer to a lot of depth on each answer
That would be
to
the writers.
a Maggie
Yeah.
level depth of each question. So I
I think I'm
know.
putting it all out there.
You have to answer in complete sentences
Right?
or someone out there is disappointed. Like your 11th grade English teacher will know that you didn't answer this in complete
Right.
Stipend
sentences.
can never see some of the applications that are no sentences, periods, grammar.
And some of them I'm sure are my friends here. I don't want to know. I will judge them
Most of the people who have those kind of applications don't end up being members here. Right?
because
So
you judge them.
I don't judge them. They judge themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Science.
So I saw Maggie's, and the length and depth of the questions probably was the longest I had read at the time. And I'm reading it, and often when I read them, I'm like, well, because, you know, depending on the level of engagement of the person, how interested are, sometimes I don't ever get in contact with them.
Right.
But for yours, I'm like, well, this woman, I'm coming to her house if I can't get into contact with her. Like, I should have just like printed it out, no words, but just to see the length. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
I like you already.
Aw.
Right? And
That warms my heart.
and a lot of the one quote, I literally have it like on my computer in a spot because it's. We talk about the avatar, like a male avatar and a female avatar of the people we want in this gym, and there's a lot of things inside that avatar that are kind of minute details above gender, age, where they live, what they do, like personality characteristics. And the one quote, there have been small victories, but the overwhelming thing I see when I look at my fitness and health journey is defeat.
Wow.
And that is one of like, it's number 2, I think, of the avatar after like the demographic and all the boring stuff. Because one of the things we talk about a lot, and you and I have talked about a lot, is when people constantly do the fad diets, the gimmick workouts, the crappy training gyms, the P90X, I didn't say that, programs that don't work, the dialogue they create internally is, I failed at these things, when the dialogue is, these things failed me because it didn't work. Like negative self-talking yourself to death because something that didn't work for you is a
Yeah.
very different dialogue than like, oh, I feel defeated by all these things.
Yeah.
And I read that and I'm like, oh, gotta read this one.
Yes.
And then,
That's really powerful.
right,
Yeah.
we made the appointment.
Speaks truth.
Yeah.
We made the appointment, and my office kind of overlooks a segment of the parking lot, like 5 to 6 spaces outside
On
it.
purpose,
And-
he watches people pull in and out.
In
I
my
mean-
case, it's a good thing.
It's-
though.
Yes. No, it is a good thing.
Well, did I tell you? Have I ever told you this story? Have you heard it?
When you just told me it this week, but
Yeah.
it is incredible.
So I have the shade blinds open, and I know she's coming at 10, and I see a car pull in, and it's about 9:50, and 9:52, 9:54, 9:55, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll, give this person a call. And then the car pulls out and drives away.
I don't even remember driving away. I had no idea if I was in the right place at all. Like, this was so outside of my comfort zone. I don't go into new places by myself. I definitely don't fill out forms online and let other people read stuff about me.
But apparently you're really good at it.
She only thought no one was reading it, I think. So
No,
I
think...
Went into cyberspace, never to be seen ever again.
So once the car pulls away, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't her. Yeah, right. So that's like, okay, I'm going to call her. And then as I, looking up her contact, she pulls right back into the same
I'm like,
spot.
okay, I think I am in the right place.
So then it's like 10:02 at this point. And I'm about to call her just to make sure she doesn't drive away again. I see her get out of the car. And I'm like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And then we became best friends.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember of that initial meeting interaction?
That was such a step outside of my comfort zone. Like, when I went, I had gotten to the point where I knew I needed help. Like, I couldn't do this on my own because I had made progress and backslid or did all this stuff, and I couldn't get it all together. It's like I had been searching online for personal training places or gyms and stuff, and Facebook stalks you. So I think that's why I started getting the ads for Two Guns. And so I saw the Fit in 42, and I went, I don't know, maybe, and let it be. And then I talked to my husband about it and, pulled it back up another day. And I said, well, maybe, So I started filling out stuff. And I think I saved it to my computer, I didn't send it then. And then, the next day I was like, I'm just going to do this. And I hit send and I couldn't get back, so.
It was done.
It was a done deal,
And Dan was going to come to your house.
Right, apparently he was going to track me down regardless, so. Yeah, it was
Call
a
her
definite...
employer, hey, let's check, where does this person live?
Right.
And I guess she even works at home. So
Yeah.
all set.
Yeah. And my husband, was fully supportive of everything. He was like, you've been unhappy for a long time. Whatever you need to do, absolutely. We'll figure it out. Go do it. So I ended up out in the parking lot, not sure, because I think at that point, the Two Guns training, it wasn't on the front door, it had fallen off or something. So I really didn't know if I was in the right place.
Dan's going to clarify.
Well, no. So right now we have the window cling on
Right.
yet. Before we had just it was made at a screen printing, so it was a physical piece, and it would Velcro on, and anytime there was a big temperature change, it would fall off the door.
Yeah.
So AKA
All the time.
March, April, May, June
Yeah.
in Erie. Wasn't on the door that day probably. And I was like, I'm going to get a window cling.
Yeah, somebody who's very anxious about new places, new people, new things stepping out. I was like, hence I drove away and get back. But yeah, coming in, I didn't expect, everything that we did that day either, going through all the movement stuff or anything, and how much you took everything I wrote to heart and okay, this is what we can do. This is how we're going to make a plan for you. All of that involvement, it was okay, maybe this is really good that I hit okay. and
sent in my giant form.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's because people are like, wow, you actually read it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the teacher that just reads the papers or doesn't read the papers and puts the arbitrary grades on them.
Well, and there's things I could just have you put your name in if I'm not going to read things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let alone when you wrote a book, I'm going to read that book.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Dan was almost an English major.
I was almost an English major.
So,
Can you guess the reason why I wasn't? It's not actually, because people who know me now are surprised by it actually. Because they're like, oh, you like reading. Right, because there was too much reading. I'm like, I'm not reading all these books.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
he likes to read long forms, though. Don't be fooled.
Yeah. It's long application forms for a fitness program that we're running.
That's his niche.
Yeah,
So
that is.
That's a thesis.
it's all good.
Thesis.
Well, and Joe didn't know when you say someone was peeling onions or had onset allergies that it means that you were tearing up. He's like, oh yeah, my allergies were bad yesterday too, because I was reading I put a couple quotes and because I had this one written, and the one I'll talk next was when I went to your forum and found it, and I was reading the last question, and I just automatically had allergies, and Joe started peeling onions, And so I was like, I'm not gonna be able to read this on here, let alone have Maggie hear it on here, so I'm just not gonna do it.
Good. Thank you.
And she was like, yeah, I had allergies yesterday too. I'm like, yeah, okay, Joe.
Oh, he's so young and silly.
Yeah, so I was like, well, this quote's not coming out. But the other one that is another Avatar quote of ours is a longer one, but I don't put enough power in my self-worth and can talk myself out of working out in order to do this task around the house or help this friend or family member out, etc. I know I need to focus on myself, but I often put myself last in the equation of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the other piece of the Avatar where whatever the quote-unquote middle-aged woman puts everything ahead of herself. And at some point, the myriad responsibilities, you can't actually do them if you're not taking care of yourself. And I think that was one of the things we talked about in the strategy session where people miss out on that because, kids gotta do, my husband this, my work this. And I was like, yeah, and how long can you do that if you don't actually take care of yourself and you're unhappy and you're like, because you think it's selfish, but it's the complete most selfless thing.
Yeah, you actually can do more, I think, if you do take that time out. Now, I know I can do more because I feel better and I have more of myself actually to give now because I have the energy and the strength and the ability to do those types of things. Yeah.
Well, that's a hard transition because
it is.
Like, okay, I'm going to give this thing 3 to 4 hours, 2 to 4 hours in the gym, and then and the outside the gym stuff too. Like I think one of the things in your your weekly wins of the New Year New You was like the meal prep stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Where that, having the energy gives you time, sleeping better gives you time, learning all the things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, this actually gave me time. I invested 3-4 hours a week to get how many, which is it's a hard transition.
It is, yeah. Yeah, meal prep was definitely one of the things that helped me the most through New Year, New You. I took the time on Sunday to put it all together because otherwise, I spend my lunch break sometimes coming in here, so I don't have that time when I get back. I got to get back to work to make something healthy. So having that stuff in the fridge and just being able to grab it was huge for me.
I think to go back to what you were saying, Dan and Maggie, about time in here, people often think that taking time out to go to the gym or to take care of themselves is selfish, but we have to also look at it as it's self-care because mentally, I mean, if I didn't come here and work out some of my aggression, it'd be really ugly.
Yeah.
I think psychologically you need to take a break from your home, your work, your family, to come and do something else.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good mind break. Gives you something different to focus on. I think you need the mindfulness.
And that's another piece of the Avatar because when people go to the average gym, the battle itself is getting there. There shouldn't be a battle once you are there. But when you get to the average gym, like, okay, what do I do? How long do I do it? This kind of sucks. Should I keep going? This kind of hurts. Should I keep going?
It really does. Yeah.
And like, okay, should I stop because I should stop, or should I keep going because I should keep going? And all of a sudden, there's no mental reprieve at all. We're just doing all these things. So having like a program individualized to you, that's written out for you, that is coached for you, and you can actually just focus on doing the thing rather than how do I do it? What do I do? Am I doing this right? Who's staring at me? Why are they staring at me? Why is she not naked? Why is he pissed? Why is she wearing so much makeup? Right? But that's the average gym, and you walk in, you're like, oh. And it's like, oh man, fitness is hard. And I'm like, it's certainly easier than most people make it out to be, but it's also, it shouldn't be that hard.
I was going to say something funny, but I lost it.
I apologize.
It's okay, Dan. It's May.
It is May. Well, and a teacher in May, the mental reprieve of coming like, oh, you're so busy, you're so overwhelmed. How are you making it to the gym? And it's like, how could I do all this if I wasn't?
I won't give it up.
To the gym.
It's in the schedule. That's it.
Well, it's funny because people, when they're busy, they're too busy, and then in the summer, there's too much to do, and it's like, no, it always has to be part of this 52-week lifestyle game. And it's, again, easier said than done. Let's put the things where for the first 13 months, we're going to work on getting to the gym 3 times a week. And that's because that's hard, right? And it's, oh, my kid's this, my this, work.
What about your socks, though?
What about my socks? Good call.
Maggie, look away.
Maggie, look away. Look away. They're actually sharks today for Mr. Sharkman. It's away. It's away.
Joseph?
Are we clear?
Confirmation from Joe Joseph.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Usually Hyman's not in much danger, but the middle person usually
Yeah.
is in danger.
Do you remember what kind of socks Dan had on the first time you came in?
No, I think I was just overwhelmed with
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
think-
I notice that kind of stuff about people because I like fashion. Yeah.
I think Maggie was one hand on her lap, one hand on her face, and almost like my eyes are the ceiling.
Probably. Like, I'm just not even going to look at you. Like, I'm not really here right now.
Oh, 'cause one of
I
the
give you a
things-
lot of credit if you're not apt to change and you just describe yourself as a shy person per se, or
I'm good once I have my people or my setting. Like,
She's like the two of us for the most part, where
Yeah.
there's an introversion and a quote unquote shyness, but once you're in the inner circle,
right.
forget
then
it.
It's complete
It's
comfort.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it's
you don't
okay.
even know.
But
Yeah.
it's I got to get past
Brace
that
yourself.
initial. Yeah.
Well, and it's because it's the people and the comfort zone or the environment too, because the right people in a less than ideal environment and vice versa, it's all kind of that.
which reminds me of what I was going to say a minute ago. Something I like about being here and what I was going to say about mindfulness is when I've been to other places and I've been working out by myself, you have your headphones on. You're really just in your head. I would be in my head unless I was in a class or something, it's another hour of me just being in my head again. Which is why it's one of the main reasons I needed to come here was to get out of my head and for people to tell me this is what you need to do, and I needed to be in another community of awesomeness and contribute my own awesomeness and be around awesomeness. So that's one of the things that attracted me here was that I noticed the music was on and no one had earbuds in.
Well, that's
That made me
'cause
happy.
One of my big fitness pet peeves is like, oh, you should just be able to work out at your home, do 30 minutes there, 15 minutes here, and like, what's the most distraction-filled place you could possibly work out at?
Yeah.
Like, your house, because you never actually get out of your head. You know,
Right.
okay, this needs cleaned. I have a toddler on my back. Oh, I have to do this, and all of a sudden, there's no break because you're just in
Right,
it.
and Maggie works at home.
It's-
Everything's
Most of
there.
the
Everything in
time,
your life
yeah.
has to be done at
Yeah.
home, right? What has been the biggest impact on you from being here as a member?
I say I definitely feel more self-confident than I have in a long time, and I have more self-worth and value in myself.
Well, maybe what were the things, like how did that happen? Because
I
I think
all
that's a big thing.
all the small victories I think that have led up to that. And like even I was talking to my mother-in-law the other day, and she was like, "You're a different person than you were a couple of years ago. Like you were just stronger, and just have like you've changed overall." And it caused me kind of to think back. Like I've worked through a lot. Like I worked on consistently getting here and being here. 3 to 4 days a week or whatever. And then I worked on getting more water, and then more sleep, and then, cutting out the sugar in my coffee, and then the creamer, like it was all these little things throughout. And I think really the first time it hit me that I had actually made a decent amount of changes was last summer, the end of last summer. We went to Panama Rocks, my husband, my daughter, and I. And we climbed all over the rocks, like up and down. I was lifting my daughter up and stuff that I wouldn't have been able to physically do the year before. And that was huge for me. Like we had a blast. And I thought to the person I was, the prior year, I wouldn't have been able to get up there with them and climb those rocks or do that kind of stuff. Like I would have been on the sideline. Mm-hmm. And I'm more present in my own life now because I can be. Like I physically am capable to do whatever I want now. And that's huge. I have the power.
The sideline line in the application is what brought on the allergies.
Yeah.
What I think I heard was a lot
This is
of
a
the
lot.
right. I was like,
Yeah.
don't cry on camera, too, guys.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is a beautiful thing.
Every small victory slowly builds up the confidence into which we are then able to either appreciate a big victory or have something there where lacking those small victories over time is usually one of the missing links to, hey, Two Guns, how do I build confidence and how do I build self-worth? And I'm like, well, how long
How much
do I have to
time?
answer
Yeah.
this?
How much time do you have?
But that's the thing, like, if we're talking a 4-week game, I don't know if I can help you. Like, we can take some things, but if we're talking this 52-week game, I can certainly, and it's probably going to be slower than most people, right? Because we live in such an immediate gratification world that it's almost unfair how slow and progressive doing fitness correctly is. So building up all these things to make that a lot more palatable is hard, but that's also exactly what works.
And this is a lifestyle,
Boom.
It is.
right?
Absolutely.
And what was I going to say? In the morning, I thought I was good, but apparently not so much.
Well, and that's because I thought I'd be better in the morning as well, and
Yeah.
I've stumbled more in the morning one than I have in
I'm
the afternoon.
normally on point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a better teacher in the morning, actually. Like, my morning classes get a better teacher. My afternoon classes get a funnier teacher. So maybe podcasting is better in the afternoon, so it's funnier. But what I was going to say to you is those are all the non-scale victories that people don't realize, because everyone wants to see the number on the scale move. And in a challenge, that's great.
Right.
And kudos for all the, the scale moving. But it's so many other things in this fitness game and this health game that are important, which is being a part of your own life.
Yeah.
And being able to lift your child, move more, move better, exist, live properly, do all the things you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
Well, and that other piece of the avatar, like you just described, was I feel so uncomfortable in myself and I lack such self-confidence that I feel like I'm missing out on my own life and I can't participate in things I want to participate in. Because that gets lost a lot too, where people, they think that the goal is to do like this random nonsense fitness thing or this mud run crazy thing. But no, the goal is to not miss out on the things that serve you, the things that empower you, the things that light you up. And that gets missed, where like 2 years ago, hey, do you really want to feel confident on the Panama Rocks? Like
That one, yeah,
right?
that's not.
But
that's
in
not.
the moment, it's like, okay, we're doing this thing, and I don't have to not do this thing because I'm not physically. I don't know if I can do it. I don't want to get hurt, right?
Right.
Because that's like a busy mom getting hurt is probably more detrimental to their life than a professional athlete getting hurt, which gets missed a lot, right? Like you don't need to hire a fitness professional to hurt you, right? But also let's build up all these things and strengthen all these things so that we can actually do all the things. And that's, I'm glad you mentioned the allergy line for me, because
I didn't intentionally go there. Yeah,
Life gets you.
it does. It absolutely does.
I feel, because it's a great story of making amazing progress incrementally over a year and a half, 2-ish years, and then being completely ready to do something more progressive, like the New Year, New You. What was that transition like?
From the small to like going all in.
Well, yeah, because I think, I didn't even have to come to you for it. Like, you came to me like, hey, I think I'm ready to do it.
Yeah,
And I'm
find
like,
me
I thought that
people
too.
to be a team.
Yeah.
Dan didn't have to stand at the door,
Right, and
which is what he
track
does.
me.
He, with his giant body, stands at the door and just kind of leans into people. So, about this New Year, New You thing.
Completely accurate.
Yeah. Like, you can't get by until you go underneath his armpit,
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah, completely true. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I don't put my foot on the counter.
Yeah.
Right.
Please understand. I have a tendency to be dramatic, but that was completely accurate.
It is.
So you approached him about it.
Yeah, I did. Well, we had talked about it, like in the personal, like the people that I work out with at 4 on Tuesdays. At that point, we were talking about it as a group, about whether or not we were going to do it and stuff, and just kind of going through. And I'm like, I think it's time. I just felt ready. Like, I felt mentally ready. I felt physically ready. I felt capable. Like, I felt I had all the tools to be successful of it. And I feel like I had set myself up throughout the past year and a half for success, doing it little by little by little.
Well, and what I'm hearing you say is that you built up these small victories over time in order to then get the confidence where this dialogue of how you see yourself fitness-wise wasn't a journey of defeat. It's like, okay, I've made these small victories, and now I can do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. And I think for me personally, like, I needed the accountability part of New Year, New You. Like, I wouldn't let my team down. Like, that was not something I am capable of doing. So whatever kind of week I was having or day I was having, I'm still going to eat good because I'm not going to put them in jeopardy. I'm going to do the best I possibly can, not only just for me, but for the group too, you know? So, like, I needed that accountability, and it really helped, like, consistently tracking, having Dawn, you know, read through what I was eating. I'm like, I don't want her to yell at me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you want to talk
all
about
of
menacing.
That. You know, I want the smiley face and the sticker on my sheet. I don't want the sad face.
No sad faces.
No sad faces, yeah.
No
So the
sad
accountability
faces.
piece of it was big for me too.
Well, and maybe just even being ready
Mhm.
for that extra accountability
Right.
piece, which is, again, hey, can we put a number on that? Like, how do we quantify that?
Yeah.
Right, but
Right.
you know, getting there.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like you had a thought, like you were deep in thought.
I have lots of thoughts. Doesn't mean any of them are coherent.
or relevant or pertinent
Oh,
to.
yeah, usually not relevant.
If someone were, say, on the fence about joining, or someone who was very similar to Jennifer, March 2016 Maggie, what would you tell them to kind of get over that hump, get over that investing in yourself fallacy, take that first step type approach?
I'd say that you're definitely worth the time and effort to go after living a better life, and that investing in yourself is worth the time and the effort, the money, all of it. Like, if you're willing to spend more money on your car than you are on your body to get yourself around,
You can get a bus pass.
you know, it's just you have
If you need to.
Exactly. You can find ways to come up with it. Like, you are worth the investment because the quality of your life is going to improve greatly.
You used my car line. I don't even know if I ever talked to you about that.
I don't think we have.
But when,
No.
when something happens with a person's car, the question isn't, am I going to take it to the mechanic to get it fixed or
Right.
not? You take it there, and when you get the bill,
Right.
you don't say, nah, I can't afford that,
Right.
right? Or I don't see the value in that. But with our bodies, it's cell phones, like, oh, my screen cracked, gotta drop
Yeah.
4 figures on
Mhm.
another one. But I'm like, well, when's the last time you did that for you?
Mhm.
Right? And the only thing that you're going to have forever is the one that gets pushed to the side the most. Which
Absolutely.
Is,
And that's
a whole
the
podcast.
mental.
Yeah.
That's the mental change. But you're absolutely worth the effort and the time and the money. Absolutely. And it's worth stepping out, getting out of your comfort zone and doing
And getting out of your car.
and getting out of the
Mhm.
car, like
Yeah.
hitting send, reach out, set yourself up for success. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you're doing work on your house, you call the electrician. If you're doing something else, you call the plumber. You know, like you send all these things to specialists who know exactly what they're doing. I don't know all the fitness stuff. I can't do it on my own. So I go to the people who know what they're doing
Mhm.
and I get help there. And that's setting yourself up for success.
I think that's a boom moment. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
Everything about Maggie is a boom moment.
No, not even close.
Yes.
It's like, and automatically.
Yes. Yes.
Your Turkish Get Up PR, where
Yeah.
like I had to, she wouldn't let me film it, so she
No,
started.
and I was like in my glasses, like the only time like I was so not feeling that day, I had my glasses on. And
So I literally...
All you have to do is put the glasses down.
and then
Then I can't
Joseph-
see. I couldn't see your face. It's so bad.
It's okay, dear.
I filmed from like
You don't
the
miss
corner
anything
from
sometimes.
behind her.
Oh, you did. You were so
And then
sneaky.
she wouldn't like let me take a picture of her ringing the bell, so I have a picture of her head inside
Like-
her shirt ringing the bell,
Maggie,
which
we
will
gotta
definitely
work
be
on
on the
this.
show notes page for this podcast.
Oh. Yeah,
gotta
but
work
I
on this.
posted. I did the reverse Turkish getup in the challenge, and I posted that one myself.
Mhm.
Like I had one of the interns take that video. So
Mm-hmm.
I do
that
want
was
to
a
ask
huge
Maggie
progression.
one question before
Yeah.
we sign off here.
We don't have to sign off. Talk to Maggie forever.
We could talk to her forever. I'm trying to go to metabolic at 10.
exactly, I need.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I figure I'm here. I might as well
Absolutely.
exercise,
We're gonna
even
do
though
it.
I don't really want to mess my hair up. But
I know Maggie's comfort zone by the level of her shoulders.
so you said before you never posted. Look at Joe Joseph. Aw.
He's just over there chuckling.
Rugged Joe
Rugged
Joseph.
Joe Joseph.
You said before you would never post anything about your workouts on Facebook before the New Year, New You.
Yeah,
Why?
I am completely fine with posting stuff about my kid or my husband or places we've been, like vistas.
Do you ever post pictures of yourself?
If other people are in them, like never really just me until that was part of New Year, New You, posting stuff. And then I got a lot of positive support. I do have a phenomenal support network, family, friends, you know, coworkers, everybody. We had some really awesome conversations because of those posts though too, which was interesting to see. And even post the challenge, we've touched base with different people. I've touched base with different people. Yeah, that was definitely outside my comfort zone doing that.
Well, and the one, I think you were doing battle ropes, and I was like, I saw the picture because I was like away for a week, and I came back, and I'm like, Maggie, that picture, and you're like, do I look like that? Like
I did.
do I look like that?
I said to my husband, I'm like, do I look like this in real life now? Like, is that really me? He's like,
What was surprising
yeah.
about it? I didn't see
Just the profile. Like I could finally, like, you could see the change
Like,
that
you
I
could
had.
tell she's
The
lost 30
progress.
pounds in
Oh.
8 weeks.
Yeah, like it was.
Yeah.
It was the progress. I was like, oh, because you don't notice
You're
it
like,
day
wow,
to day.
I am really sexy right now.
I don't know.
Yes.
But
You-
it was, do I look that sexy in real life or just in this picture?
No.
Right?
Yes.
Real life.
Real life. I'm sitting next to it, and it's in real life.
Well, and her like weekly wins and her weekly post was like food the first few weeks, and then it became Maggie in the second half.
Yeah.
We want to see
Yeah,
Maggie.
We want to see Maggie.
Yeah.
So much Maggie on the show notes page.
Yeah.
Check it out.
All the Maggie. All the time.
Maggie. She's gonna make a showcase of
Oh,
Maggie Schultz.
man.
Ooh, showcase of
Showcase.
Maggie Schultz. I like that.
Yeah, that has a nice ring
Cut
to
it,
it.
Joe. Cut it.
Yeah. Showcase.
It would be remiss for me to not mention how grateful I am that you jumped out of your comfort zone one more time for me to be on this. I fully anticipated when I was going to ask Maggie to be on here that it would be a multiple step, multiple contact conversation. She said yes
And I
immediately,
said
and I was
yes.
like, and I just ran away.
There's a-
You
there's
did.
a-
You totally awesome. And then you gave me too much time between when you asked me and this, and I'm like, oh, did I say yes?
You really did.
You said yes,
Yeah.
and then you killed it.
There's a huge change in itself.
Yeah, it is.
And she came at 9 a.m. on a Saturday because Hyphen and I both have conflicts on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the
Thank
early
you.
morning wake up and joining us.
Thanks for
on-
being so awesome.
Well, that too. Just for crushing all your fitness
Yeah.
stuff.
And just
my
killing it
goodness.
at life. It's tough to be a lifestyle, but
Well, and
Somebody's gotta do
as
it.
the compliments come out, the shoulders get higher.
Oh,
and
yeah,
higher.
I don't do well.
Oh, people are saying nice things about me.
Yeah.
someday you'll be like Dan and I, and you'll just be like, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
And sorry to, because we already did like the wrap up, but even just the wins that keep coming, because you had in a land of we only have good, great, and above days. Last Tuesday was a good day for you in that world, and
Yeah,
it
this
didn't.
whole week.
You were here. You got through it. You didn't miss a workout. You didn't miss a beat. And I think you were like, if you had asked me to do the podcast today,
It
would
would have
not
been.
happened.
Yeah,
It'd
it
be
was
solid
not
no.
a good day.
And
Yeah.
I'm thinking like we're gonna have to talk about this on the podcast because just the fact that you are here having this conversation with me rather than being at home in a corner, right, is massive.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the nice things about having like the personals and stuff. Like I would never not show up for that. So that accountability there is good too.
Well, and not only when there's a team of fitness professionals waiting for you, but a team of people going through the journey with you.
Absolutely.
Like, how many
Like,
people
I
would you
wouldn't
have
wanna
to say
miss
no
my
to
friends.
Right.
to be
Yeah.
there? Right?
They will even give you hugs.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and
Genuine
that was,
hugs.
Amanda Mathis would yell at you
Yeah.
if you were not there,
Yeah.
And then give you a hug.
and then give you a hug.
Right.
Yeah,
Genuine
absolutely.
hugs.
Genuine hugs. So speaking of people you have to ask multiple times, that's apparently Amanda, because I got a hard as hell no initially. So
Amanda, that's for you.
You and I are going to work on this.
Oh, I'll tag
So
team
that-
her.
Yeah, tag team Amanda Mathis. We're doing
She's
it.
awesome.
For a future guest, we got Joe Joseph with that one.
I'm not afraid. I have short hair and an open mind.
I was say we are a true judgment-free zone.
Right, we are.
Right?
We
So
are.
Who knows?
All types
Right?
are-
Whatever happens, who knows?
It's on the podcast. Doesn't stay here.
Yeah, whatever happened doesn't actually stay here. We air it out on the podcast.
Yes, for all the internet
yeah,
to
I'm
see.
not thinking about that part of it right now. It's these people, this room.
It's just going to be a
Yes.
lot of views.
This is
No.
it's
Maggie.
just Maggie, Two Guns, Joe Joseph, and Terrell Owens having
Yes.
a conversation, right, and nothing more.
It's all good.
Thank you again.
Well
for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Dan Two Guns,
Absolutely.
Lisa Hyman, Committee Foster, the Maggie Schultz, signing off.
Adorable.
Thanks for your time.